All right, what is going on, you absolute beef lords? I really appreciated your guys' positive response. Apparently, you guys are fed up with people flexing their shitty sleep habits as much as I am. So we're starting a counterculture movement. We're gonna start flexing how seriously we take our sleep, and if we can't go to bed on time because of life factors, we're gonna flex the fact that we keep our room cold and dark and how serious we take that shit. Even if our life circumstances dictate it's a little bit away from optimal, we're starting a wave of fucking sleep chads, guys. Um, Aside from that, I really wanted to highlight one of the guys in the comments brought up a really good point, right? When we talk about sleep habits, how do we get like, okay, Sam, you sold me I should be taking this seriously. You sold me I should be taking this as a priority in my efforts to get stronger. How do I do that? And we all have these talking points we've all heard: cold room, dark room, consistent sleep schedule, not sleeping in on the weekends and going to bed late, quiet room, not having your dog in your bed, magnesium supplementation. Oh, here's 710, moved okay. Pretty happy with that. And then the 660 back off. Technique was a little bit off, but they were feeling really light. So kind of a mixed bag there. Definitely know that this far out from the 880, I shouldn't be doing reps with compromised technique. So going to make some adjustments for next week. But we've kind of heard a lot of these things. No screen before bed, dark room, cold room. I know I already said those. But we've got this list. I'm sure there's a couple other of the really common talking points. But one of you guys brought up one that I thought was a really good point, right? We have all these things like consistency of sleep hygiene that are going to contribute to our sleep. But one of you brought up a point that I do think is often neglected, and I think it's really good. And it also has a ton of other benefits, and it's a part of our holistic lifestyle to become a beef lord. And that is step count. The guy mentioned that he felt like if his step count was really low, he just would not get tired for about 30 hours, right? So 6 hours past that 24-hour timer we're supposed to be on based on our circadian rhythms. Also, here's me jumping the living shit out of my pauses. I almost considered not including this because I was so embarrassed I jumped them so bad, but this was just an example of like, no matter how long I've been lifting, no matter how advanced I get, every now and then I get it in my head that I'm going to do a number, and I fudge the shit out of my pauses to get it done. I'm not counting it as a rep PR, but I looked back at some of the paused SSB numbers I did in my preparation for that 600 for 10 SSB set, because I was doing pauses prior to a quick lead up to that 600 for 10. And this would have been like a small chip of one of the sets that I did. So I was like, oh man, I'm starting to get back towards peak squatting condition. Nah, I fudged it. I don't get to count it. But squats are feeling really good. Squat strength is definitely on the up and up, approaching all-time strength. I think another month or two I will be at all-time squatting strength. But he mentioned how if he didn't get his step count in, he wouldn't be tired for 30 hours. Like that kind of circadian rhythm of when he was supposed to start feeling tired would not line up with a 24-hour day. So you're habitually running behind. And this is the same issue that I've run into. There's lots of interesting stuff out there about chronobiology, about all these different internal timers to our brain, but also our cells individually, and how they have cues to try to sync up with a 24-hour timer going on in the world around us. Exercise being a cue, food being a cue, light exposure being a major cue, early exposure to light, yeah, blah, 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 Huberman stuff, like helps you build up sleep pressure across the day. All of these things are good, but the other one that I found to be really serious is step count. If I didn't get 10K steps, again, that energy I had for the day would kind of go past the waking hours, and then I would just be habitually running behind because I wasn't tired until late, and then I'm tired in the morning getting up on time. So I think that's another thing we can do to optimize our sleep. It's good for recovery. It's good for our insulin sensitivity in terms of making sure that as much of our caloric surplus goes towards putting on muscle as possible. All around, step count is a killer habit to have for efficient bulking, for efficient cutting, and also for efficient sleep. I think it can help you build that proper sleep pressure to be tired by the time you want to be tired. There's tons of other things we can do, like that light exposure, our eating habits around bed, are things that we can help to do to time that sleep pressure. Things like our caffeine timing through the day, practices of trying to get right, like in a more parasympathetic state rather than a sympathetic state. But I really think that trying to set a a step count number that you know will have you tired by the end of the day is a good habit to have. And sometimes that's going to be 6K, sometimes that's going to be 10K. In my own case, that's actually more towards 15K. If I don't get 15K steps, I'm just not tired in the amount of time I need to be tired. And yes, that extra 5,000 steps does have some fatigue associated with it, but I find it's offset by the fact that I'm getting higher quality sleep.